Tips for young DJs would be patience, probably. Play the long game, don't rush into anything, and don't feel like you're having to do everything all at once. A bit of a veteran now in this scene, I guess, having touring for kind of nearly 20 years, I would say that patience is the key, you know, and have a kind of, it's not always easy because sometimes people pop off really, really quickly and things happen overnight, it almost seems. But just try and ride that wave consistently rather than too many spikes, because, you know, gradually walking up a hill is a lot more successful than, you know, jumping straight to the top and then falling back down the other side. You know? But they say, don't they, that anything that's an overnight success probably isn't an overnight success. It's been building up to that point, you know. But yeah, you've just got to be patient, which is hard because it feels like, especially with social media and people's attention spans, that everything is so reactive. Of if you don't catch people in 3-4 seconds, they're gone, you know. But yeah, I think overall patience is key with this. This industry.
I want y'all to think about something for a second. DJing is truly an act from God, right? We take our two hands and our imagination and we shift the vibe in the room. We create energy, and we're also making memories memorable for all the attenders in the party. That's something that should be held sacred. DJing is an act of selflessness. It's not always about how we feel, even though we have preferences, but it's about the people. So understand this. Doctors heal the body, therapists heal the mind, but the DJ heals the spirit. And it's not about clout, it's about calling. And when God calls you to help people heal through sound, that's sacred. Don't take for granted. Peace.
Creatives, you should stop making content. In fact, you should stop making art for your peers, that is. They're not your assignment and they're not your audience. You should make art for the people who love your art.
You ain't ready to put 5 years of grind into anything without making a quarter.
Right.
Don't even start. Sometimes it takes that long to get over the hump. They're not ready.
I think a lot of people go through this thing where if they share information, they're going to lose their business. They're going to lose their edge. Two things are true in this world. One, there's only one you, and nobody can do what you do, even if they try to copy you one for one. It's never the same. And then two, most people that you give information to won't actually take you up on your information. I could tell people right now how to start a business from scratch, all the pitfalls and all the things you should and you shouldn't do. And you know what? 2% will actually take my advice and use it. The rest of them either know better than me or are too lazy to make it happen.
Before it's time to spin, you've got to first cue it up.
I'm probably in your area too. Everybody who owns a laptop, they're a DJ. Everybody who owns a DSL camera, they're a photographer.
And what I'll do is put up blurbs so therefore you can see what I'm thinking about and why I chose that song. You can see the reaction of the kids. So you can kind of like get an idea of how to use it and what to expect.
Why do you want to charge for something that you have the knowledge of and these other DJs don't have the knowledge of? Share your knowledge, you know?
Right.
But DJing's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work, but it is a lot of fun too, you know? I'm DJ Mikey Mike. I cover central, northeastern Pennsylvania, southeastern Pennsylvania, parts of New Jersey, parts of New York State.
And I'm Dwayne Dixon, the Hitman D-Dub from Cleveland, Ohio. And it's time to cue it up. What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Cue It Up DJ podcast with me, the Hitman D-Dub, and my friend DJ Mikey Mike.
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing? See, we got Cool Thing in the room and Big DJ Services. How you guys doing tonight?
Yep, I was telling Cool Thing he needs to start practicing for those back to school gigs.
Yeah, they're starting to go back to school this week. The parochial schools are going back this coming week, and then after Labor Day is when the public schools go back.
Okay, because ours start Monday, but the district that I live in, they started this week, and the neighboring district that my nieces and nephews are in, they start tomorrow. And so today was the back to school ice cream social and, meet and greet your teacher at the building that I graduated from. So I was there and I did the music for that event.
Awesome. That's great. It gives the kids something to look forward to throughout the school year. If you're going to DJ for them, they're going to know you already. So, which is great, which is really great, Dwayne.
Yep. And of course, a lot of them wanted the younger ones wanted the Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, and Beat It, and all that kind of songs.
That the movie coming out there, and not just the movie coming out, their parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles. I don't know. If a person says they don't like Michael Jackson, I don't know how you cannot like him. He was such a talented person and such a how can you say it? I mean, an inspiration to so many other musicians. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Okay. So those that join our podcast is a podcast for DJs of all levels, skill levels to come connect, learn, and grow. From pro tips to real talk, we're here to support and celebrate the DJ community. So this is our third part and final part of our talk about gathering information, be it either us asking the information from clients or being the emergency DJ and getting the right information that's going to help you be able to DJ the event. And so we're going to talk about lessons that we learned from our past events that kind of like came into play like now. If you think about what lessons have you learned from being, the beginner DJ when you first start out DJing, to what kind of wisdoms that you gain through, not by someone teaching you it or watching videos, but life lessons. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Something that you endured throughout your DJing career, basically,
Yep. So let's talk about the things that led up to that, and then we're going to jump right into our discussion. And then in the chat, put down something that you learned, that you picked up, some wisdom or hacks that you learned by DJing, that you learned on your own. Because you had to. The situation made you learn it.
You're forced into the corner and you had to either you performed or you went belly up, basically,
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you one thing. The one thing I learned, friends definitely will try to take advantage of you. Some family members will try to take advantage of you. You may be booked for a gig, and then a very good friend or a family member calls you up and thinks you're going to give up your gig to go DJ their party. And it's like, I hate to hurt their feelings, but guess what? I'm booked already. I'm sorry. I can't cancel on these people. They paid me their retainer fee. I'm in with them. I'm sorry if you're my family member, but guess what? Or you're my best friend, one of my best friends. I'm sorry. The client I don't know, but I'm booked to them, and my heart, my everything is geared to that event. That's it. I might be losing money on the event, as compared to DJing for a friend, might be a friend's daughter's wedding or something. Yeah, I can make more money there, but I'm booked for this 60th birthday party. I'm not going to start that because once you start that, that word spreads quick that, oh, geez, DJ Mikey might cancel on me. Now we have no DJ. So never back out of an event for a friend or family member.
It made me think about, I guess it was a Facebook post about the one DJ that booked a gig, and Brian S. Red did a video on it. I think it was last week. He did it where the person booked the event and then the money was paid in full and they blew the money or something. And they needed someone to step in or it was real funky. So
yeah, he, if I'm correct, I know the one event, it was for a friend of his, and I'm not, if I'm mistaken, Brian, don't get mad at me, but I think the friend passed away and they were already, he was paid for the event. So Brian stepped in and just did the event for free.
No, it's not that one.
Okay.
Because remember, he did that one, but then he did another one shortly because he was talking about.
I know he did a couple of them right in succession with each other.
Right. So it wasn't that one. It was the one after that one. Because this person didn't die.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah, I might have missed that one. Because usually I like to like all his videos and share them and that, you know, because he has so much knowledge. It's, we can't learn from him. We're not going to learn from anybody. You know, he doesn't have all these fancy YouTube. He has a great YouTube show. There's not all this glitter and glamour and all this stuff going on. It just, boom, he sits down, he talks, he says what he feels, and practice and enjoy, everybody, you know?
Right. So let's get going. So last week we talked about being the emergency DJ and getting information and what kind of information do we need to make sure that we can go and execute that gig as the replacement DJ. So the 3 takeaways was a good handoff isn't about more information. It's about clear, useful information. So that means give the replacement DJ what they actually need to execute the event without digging through unnecessary paperwork. Because like we discovered, there's a lot of good questions that we ask, but then make sure when you have to transfer that information over to the other DJ, a lot of information that's not useful, give them like a summary or something that they can get to the information that they need. Not give them, if you have a form, not give them that long form where they have to read it. And after they read a paragraph or two, they realize that that wasn't even containing to their event.
I was thinking about that too. Now that came from another DJ, and he knows exactly how we all basically. When it comes down to doing the gig, it's a straight, simple, and forward. If it was coming from a wedding coordinator or a wedding planner, you may get something like that because they have everything in there. But when it's coming from another DJ, he knows how it works, so he should just give you exactly what we need, not all this other garbage, all this tossed salad, you know?
And then number 2, the replacement DJ still needs to communicate with the client if you can. Because even with a great handoff, contacting the couple confirms expectations and also to let them know that you'll be filling in. Because I have done a couple of weddings when I first started off where I didn't meet the couple until I lined them up to do the grand entrance. And that's real awkward. So make sure you contact them beforehand, reassure them, and fill in anything that may have been missed in details. And then the third one is emergency coverage starts before the emergency happens. So that means make sure you have, if you're the DJ, make sure you have someone you can call at the last minute to possibly fill in the blanks for you if if an emergency comes up. Also, make sure you have your music organized. So if you're the emergency DJ, make sure your music is organized. Make sure your equipment is organized. So when you get that call, you can jump right into action and take care of business.
Yes. Another thing with that too, Dwayne, I know even not just an emergency wedding, but I've done weddings for one couple, they were from Hawaii. The other couple was from Philadelphia. Another couple was from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And it was phone conversations. And it was great. Zoom wasn't around at that point in time, so I couldn't do the Zoom meeting with them. But what I did then is I asked them, do you have a Facebook account? And yeah, Mike, we have a Facebook account. I said, okay, do you mind if I send you a friend's request or just jump on your page so I can see who I'm going to be looking for when I get to the event? Because, I mean, you're talking to them on the phone, but might have like Cherry Hill, New Jersey. That was a 3.5-hour drive for me. Allentown, that was an 1.5-hour drive for me. Philadelphia, that's a 3-hour drive for me. And it was just like, who am I going to look for? At least this way I have their Facebook account. I have their picture. And when I walk in, okay, there's the bride, there's the groom, so I knew what I was looking for. And that's just not an emergency. That was just something that, I got booked from out of town guests, our clients. And again, it wasn't feasible for them to come meet me, and it wasn't feasible for me to go meet them because their work schedule was totally different at that point in time. I was working, so my work schedule, it was like everything was the opposite. If I'm working day shift, they were working afternoon shift. So we're both stuck in the mud, basically,
Mm-hmm.
So I always ask them, if you can't meet with them in person, ask them for an Instagram account, a Facebook account, whatever they may have, some kind of social media account, so you can get a picture of what they look like. You're not going there and asking someone that's working at the venue, hey, where's the bride at?
She should be the only one with the white dress. She should be the easy one to find.
Well, you know what? Those weddings, honestly, it was so funny. Two of them had black, one, actually, they were supposed to be in black gowns. One had a black dress, and the other one it was almost a gown, but it wasn't quite a gown. And the other one just had a plain dress on. They didn't have white on. And I'm like, okay. I did one, she was all in orange. So she stuck out like a pumpkin. I was like, okay, I know what that was but this was just two basically with black dresses on and one with just a regular dress on. So I'm like, if I didn't have her picture, I would have no idea where she was at in the crowd.
Mm-hmm. And then before we get into tonight's topic, going back to the chat, because there was a couple of good points I wanted to bring up. So Cool Thing said he learned how to MC and how to play the right song at the right time. I've learned so much over the last 8 years. And then he says, I also learned how to mix and transition from one to the other, from one song to the other. And then Big J DJ Service said, stop doing night of final payments and now require final payment 2 weeks before the event. Burnt by family on that one. And I usually, mine's is 10 days out. But it's when you're doing an emergency DJ kind of gig, sometimes you gotta, how do you put it? You almost gotta do what was, I guess, planned or whatever. It's like you're not controlling it, so you gotta accept payment from, like when I fill in for a DJ company, the thing is I don't get paid until I get there. So, but then I guess that's not going, you're not getting it from a client. So I guess it's not one of those things where you do something for a client and then they leave and now you chasing them to get paid. Yeah. But that's the only bad thing about doing it for filling in for another DJ or a DJ company, because again, that's why I have to ask them when I'm the emergency DJ. Now, what do you expect me to do? Am I the one, do you need me to contact the couple and then work on, the details? Or is the details finalized and I'm just executing? Because I don't want to call them and start changing stuff that's already set.
Exactly. But yes, Big DJ Service made a great thing there. I go 30 days out now. I used to do, the day of the wedding, 10 days. But again, those 10 days, everything's in a rush. So 30 days out. If I know the couple, then if they're very close friends with me, I'll say, all right, just pay me the day of the wedding. But most of the times they give me more than half my retainer fee. So I know they're not going to want to stiff me out just that little balance that's left. So they pay me that as soon as I walk in the door, you know? Good.
And then also make sure when they pay you that you hold on to that money. Because I'm thinking that's what happened with the guy that Brian S. Red was talking about. He got the money and something came up and now he's scrambling trying to find a DJ. But the thing is, it's not just trying to find another DJ. It's he spent the money. So therefore, you would think if it's a DJ that got paid and they can't do it, that they would give them the pay that they would have received. They would have passed it on to the person that's filling in.
Yes. That had happened to me 2 years after COVID. This DJ locally, he booked, he has 4 DJs working for him. Then him and his husband, they have their own, they go out and DJ. So there's 5 of them, but he booked 6 events. So he called me up and asked me, and my first question to him was, how much you get paid for the wedding? He told me $3,800. I said, oh, that's a pretty steep price, I said, well, Mike, that's what I get paid for my weddings. I'm like, okay. I said, well, what time do I have to be there? 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever time I'll be there, He said, no, it's only from 7 to 10. I said, 3 hours? He said, yeah, cocktail hour and dinner, you don't play no announcements, no nothing. You're just there to play dance music. That's it. I'm like, okay. That's all right. Give me $2,000. You keep $1,800. I get $2,000 for doing the job. I'm using my own equipment and everything. He said, oh, Mike, wait a second. You're making a mistake. I said, what's that? He goes, you're working for me that night. Oh, as soon as he said that, I'm like, uh-oh, I know it's coming next. He said, I'm going to pay you $600. I normally pay my DJs $400, but I'll give you an extra $200 because of all your experience. I said, I'm sorry, man. I can't let you walk away with $3,200 and you're not doing nothing for this. And I'm the one who's going to show up and actually DJ this wedding for you. No, I said, it's $2,000 or nothing. He said, all right, I'm sorry. He said, I can't do business with you. I said, okay, that's no problem. I know I pass gigs on to Tyler. If the client asks me for a price, I'll say, okay, yeah, here's my price. And then say if I overbook, then it's on me. But then whatever, they pay me a retainer fee, whatever, I keep that. If Tyler takes it, I give him the retainer fee, and then they just pay him whatever they owe me. I don't ask Tyler, I didn't ask Will for any money from their gigs. What you made, you made. That's yours. That's it. Maybe I'm dumb because I know other DJs. They'll say, all right, well, you got to pay me $400 and then you keep the rest, or you give me 50%, you keep 50%. No, I just, hey, you're the one who's working a gig. I thank you for that. That's your money,
Mm-hmm. And speaking about that, that reminded me of Chris Summers. He was a guest on our show that had a DJ company here in from the Columbus area in Ohio, and he started a Instagram group back. So there's a group of DJs there. So if we need like someone to fill in, or there's a gig that need a DJ, they'll post it, in that Instagram group. But
yes.
there was a comment today that they told everyone to kind of like start looking out. And I was just wondering, did you all hear about this new thing on TikTok where somebody told the clients on TikTok to, no, I don't want to misquote it because it's a thing. It reminded me of the whole micro wedding deal that you were saying. Let me see. Now here it is. Let me see. It is because it's just like I don't know if it's a thing. I'm just wondering. All right, and this person says, as you should, but it's a TikTok trend that told people to do this so they can get their DJ cheaper. So it's like waiting to the last. I think the whole gist of this was they noticing that a lot of people are waiting to the very, very, very last minute. So like it's August now, and so they're reaching out for DJs in September. So it's like a turnaround thing. And I was just wondering, did anybody else noticed? Because I've noticed that there's been an uptick of people looking for DJs at the very last minute, but I didn't know it's a thing where they use it to either give the sob story or make it urgent to try to talk you down on your DJ prices.
I honestly, I had a couple of calls that were last minute, and I know what they're looking for. They're looking for a cheaper price, and I just quoted them a high price. And oh, geez, our budget's only like $900, or our budget's only $700. I'm like, good luck getting a DJ for that price. And some were a double setup, some were a triple setup. I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I can't work for that kind of money. $500, and you're paying a couple $100 for a plate of food, or even $90 a plate of food, and you're having 100 people there. That's $9,000. You know, like, but you want to pay the DJ $500 to $700, or maybe $900 tops only, when everything is basically laid on our shoulders, you know. And then you call late, so now we got to really get our butt in gear. And not only we may have their gig, but we can have another gig that was booked out earlier. So say one's on the 11th of September and the other one's on the 12th of September. Well, the emergency one's on the 11th of September, not emergency, but the late call one. They're looking for the cheap price, and you give them the cheap price, they accept it. Now you're rushing, you're scrambling to get all their stuff in and scrambling to get the stuff in you have for your wedding. I just give them an astronomical price, so I know they're not going to book. You know, It's sad, but I know what they're trying to do. They're looking for a cheap way out. That's it.
Yep. And then Cool Thing says he loves DJing for his family and friends, and he feels comfortable with them compared to complete strangers who message him on social media. That's when he says no. And then he said he doesn't expect to get paid. He does it for fun. And then he said he hasn't seen that kind of trend going on. And then someone I don't know did ask me this summer to DJ a party, so I told her I can't DJ for her since I don't know that person. I just know that I've been getting a lot of uptick of inquiries, but I did get the scammer one, the one where they said, we'll send you the Zoom link, and that kind of thing. And I kept messaging them back. I said, no, we need to use this link. They kept changing the details in their for their wedding event, but then it's always at a weird time. I know there's Sunday events, but then it's at these weird times, and it's like,
I had one for a Tuesday event. I'm thinking, who gets married on a Tuesday? Really? At 2:00 in the afternoon?
I know
really?
Brentley had did some.
Yeah, like, I mean, I know there is weddings that happen on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday, but not the hours that they were having. And it was like, the ceremony starts at 2:00. We're gonna go take pictures for a half hour, and we're not even having a cocktail. We're going right into the reception. It's like, nah, this ain't real. I know it's a spam call. I'm like, no, I'm not calling you back. And then they'll call back and use a different number, but it's the same details of the same type of wedding. It's like, dude, you're trying the wrong place. I'm not gonna book you. I'm not gonna call you back.
Okay, so for tonight is what have we learned from our past events or from a tough gig? So remember, the first episode was about getting the right information before taking over for someone else's event. This last week episode was about what does the DJ give up. Wait a minute. Yeah, I hardwired, but I forgot to turn my internet off at the same time, the Wi-Fi off. So it looked like we're still clear. Now it's booting. This one's booting up. Let me see. But it doesn't. Let me go over here. Check. Yep, it's look like we're still on my main one. And yep, we're still live. So and last week we talked about being the emergency DJ. So tonight we're just going to talk about, because I guess you could say my main thing was this last, well, I shouldn't say the last event because the last event was today. The last wedding I did, it didn't seem like it was like a regular wedding event. It seemed like it was a test. I felt like I was back in college trying to take the test to get my master's, or you taking the test for your doctorate degree, because it's like everything that could go wrong went wrong at this event. And it's like everything that I had learned leading up to that wedding, I had to put into practice to make sure the wedding kept going and it didn't fall apart.
You were prepared for it in a sense. That's the thing, is sometimes you could over prepare for stuff and then you start thinking of stuff. My main outlook is, okay, I'm going into this. This is an emergency wedding. I got what they need. I got their most important songs of the night. They're giving me the free range to take requests after couples. They'll say, hey, Mike, we don't want no hardcore rap or whatever. Or I'll even question, do you want hardcore rap? Do you want edited or non-edited versions of music? And they'll tell you right up front, because, they're in dire need of a DJ. And the thing is, like, you have to, you went into this, you're prepared. You have to prepare to a point. But if you go over prepared, you start overthinking stuff, and that's when you start making mistakes. Just go into it prepared and say, okay, listen, I'm going to do the best I can with what I have, and that's it. I can't do no better,
Yep, and I see Kevin's in the chat.
Hey, Kevin, what's happening, sir?
And he got a spam. He said he got one for next weekend school reunion. Came in my spam, but I inquired and email was written correctly in English, but they wanted to pay by check. Yeah, I don't do checks anymore.
See, I do checks, but it's hard, especially if it's an emergency wedding. I would tell them, it's cash on the barrel. And listen, this is what I normally charge. If you give me cash on the barrel, I'll knock 100 or 100, maybe $200 off. So that this way, it's easier on them. It's easier on you. You might be losing $100 or $200, but it's better than getting a check that bounces and you're out $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, whatever. I'd rather have, say the event's $1,500 and you knock off $100 or $200 even, so you're getting the $1,300 or the $1,400. But the thing is, you have that money in your hand. You're not waiting. The bank calls you and says, "Oh, Mike, that check that you deposited for that wedding, it didn't clear." You're like, "Uh-oh." It's like, what do you do, man? It's
It's hard, very hard.
Yep. But let's get into it. I try to make slides so I can kind of like stay focused, because it's like after doing that event, it took so much brain power, and from that it drained me so bad. Normally after an event I can go maybe Sunday, Monday, get back into the routine, but it's like I'm still behind, and it's hard for me to like stay on top of everything. And then too, that having the school event today didn't help me to really mentally get focused on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, DJing is physical because you're loading the gear, you're unloading the gear, you're setting up. At the end of the night, you're breaking down, packing up, get home, you're unpacking it and everything. That's the physical aspect of it. But the mental stress, mental fatigue is actually worse than the physical stress, the physical fatigue. Mm. I mean, that plays on your mind, did I do it right? Did I this? Did I that? And it could take a couple of weeks actually to recover from it, and it just, even like when you come home from doing a good wedding and you knocked out of the park, you're on this adrenaline high. I don't care how tired you are, you cannot fall asleep till, say if you get home at midnight, you're up to 3 o'clock in the morning because you're on this adrenaline high because you did such a great job at this wedding. Just the opposite when you get that the emergency call and okay, you made mistakes or whatever, but it's a lot of mental fatigue, and believe me, it takes a while before you bounce back to what you wore, And I can say there's guys that don't bounce back at all. It takes them even longer to bounce back. Jeez, honestly. Maybe I'm afraid to take an emergency wedding because I'm seeing what is happening to these other DJs,
Yeah, but it's very important to be organized and then have a system, because all that helped me, because I have, when I bought the Amazon Prime bags, the bags that during that time, that came into major play. It seemed like it was something simple, but having everything organized and in a spot that I can get to it real quick, or don't have to bring a lot of extra stuff out the vehicle, it played a major part into this event.
Yes.
So let me get to these comments before, because sometimes I forget, and then by the time I get to the comments, they talk about something that we talked about a long time ago, and I can't remember what we were talking about. But Kevin said something about your mic. Mike has mic issues. It's soft and better all the time. So I'm not sure if your mic is. I'm not sure.
How about now, Kev? Give us a thumbs up in the chat. See if it's sounding better, bud.
And then Kevin asked for his full payment to be done 2 weeks out. And then he said he may move it to 3, but a few pays with a check. And I think it's, 10 days to clear? Officially clear for a check. It's been so long since I dealt with it.
If it's drawn on a local bank, it's 3 days. If it's drawn out of bank out of town, it's 10 days.
Okay. And then
if it's a corporate, that could take up to a month to clear. Like say, you did it. I'll say Sears, they're not in business no more, but you just did this big event for them, and you charge $1,500 for it. You DJed for 2 hours for some kind of grand opening for them. They give you a check for $1,500. You deposit it. You look the next day, it's on your check account. You look the next day, it's still on your check account. You look, then you call up the bank, say, "Hey, yo, where's that check I deposited 3 days ago?" That's a corporate check, sir. It has to go through their chain of command at the corporation. Yeah, it was okayed. Who okayed it? It goes right down, and then okay, now we'll sign off on it. It's like, Jesus, Yeah, I need the money. That's why I did the event for you, you know?
Mm-hmm. And then stop that cool thing. Cool thing said, for me, it all comes down to the client. If they want to do cash or check. And then Kevin went on to say, I avoid all ways that the IRS has their eyes on. And then he also said, you are using full brain power for the whole night thinking of contingency all night long. Exactly. And we're going to get ready to get into that. Then cool thing had said, no matter how tired I feel, I always push through all my events. And then Kevin went on to say, love the one setup inside for ceremony and reception.
I love that too.
Yeah. And then cool thing said he tried to be energetic at all of his gigs.
Mm-hmm.
And then Big J DJ Services says he used Venmo and Zelle.
Good.
And Kevin went on to say he doesn't like outside at all due to the Mother Nature aspect. And eating any items you any items you know like for
I can't see my PC screen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's some missing words. I'm trying to piece it together, see if it's misspelled or any items you know would like for your rough. Yeah, I'll come back to that one.
Yeah. ChatGPT, copy it, paste it in ChatGPT, maybe zip it up. But I mean, it's when you do an emergency wedding, it takes a ton out of you. I don't care how seasoned of a DJ you are. Honestly, the more seasoned you are, the better the better performance is going to be. If you are a new DJ just getting into it and you accept that, they're the ones that may quit after that, you know, because they're like, oh my God, I'm not going through this every time I go to DJ. But they're not understanding that wedding's an emergency wedding, so you're flying by the seat of your pants, you know. So don't give up on it. Just keep pushing forward.
Yeah, but if they're an emergency DJ, then they would have known that what was at stake. But my thing is, if you're just beginning, it's better to, when you're doing like weddings or very high risk events, just shadow somebody and learn from somebody that's seasoned, that knows how to do it, because at the same time, they can walk you through, or you can see and learn from them what to do. And then also it's nice to have someone there, so if something happens and you lock up or freeze up, at least you have a safety net there to be able to step in and try to get you back on track. And that's why I'm glad that I had Mr. Wilburn with me when I did my first wedding, because I did everything was smooth. I did the special dances, and then I did the first open dance. Then once I did the first open dance, I came in too hot, and when that energy from the dance floor left and there was an empty dance floor, I froze and I freaked out. And if I didn't have him there to like say, oh, play this next, and then gave me like a guideline, because the way he DJ'd, he had like mini sets, and his mini sets, he had it like on a notebook, and he had like these mini sets where he had 5 songs, and of course he played those same 5 songs, but he'll jump from, the different mini sets that he know that if he play this one, he's going to come after this one, after this one. And I remember me and him giving up some of our lunch periods when Brian S. Red used to do the actual gig vlogs where he actually showed him DJing. We even got to the point where we would sit there and study his videos to see, because we noticed there was trends. Now I wonder, did Brian know that there was trends in the way that he DJed? Because it's like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's like, wait a minute, he plays this one, and his video always go to the next song, and then the next one, and we sat there almost like doing analytics to see exactly what he's going to do and predicting what he's going to do. But he saved us. We used that, and it saved us, and I know it saved me from that first wedding I did.
You know, to do it like as a trend is great because you know you have a solid background there, you have a solid foundation. I know a good friend of mine, very good friend of mine, is a DJ, and he could be DJing a wedding or DJing at a bar, but at 8 o'clock, like say it's open dance bar, AC/DC comes on. If he's DJing at whatever bar, 8 o'clock, that same song comes on. I don't care where he DJs. He has the same crate that he uses for 4, 5, 6 months at a time. Then he'll switch up the crate. It's like, dude, how can you do this? This crate should be switched up every time you come back DJ. Well, he doesn't want to go through all that. So, you know, just I don't want to be repetitious to that point that people are going to get tired of that. And they're not going to come to the bar, or they see you at the wedding, and they're going to say, oh boy, here we go. 8 o'clock, he's going to play Bob Seger, old time rock and roll, and boom, there is old time rock and roll at 8 o'clock. I see, but I told you that, you know, it's just people get used to that routine, and once they see it and they get used to it, they end up, most likely they end up disliking your music because they're hearing it continuously the same way coming from you. So change that all up with too. You know, you have to be very versatile. You know, even though it's an emergency wedding, still there might be somebody back crowd that was at one of your weddings, and they look, well, okay, oh geez, it's Dwayne. You know, at 8:30 he's gonna play Brick House. You know, 8:30 Brick House comes out. It's like, see, I told you, you know.
Oh yeah, the chip made me think about Kevin. Kevin said he think your mic is fine. He think it's when I had caught you off guard after you just ate something and you had food in your mouth. That's why.
I picked up. I love Pringles chips, and I don't know if you have these out there, but they're taco chips. And I seen it. I'm like, oh, let me take a taste. And I took a taste before we came out there. I'm like, oh my god, I'm addicted. I
thought you knew that Pringles, you can't just eat one. I thought that was the commercial. Yeah, but going back to that, I don't do like have the 5 songs where if I play one song, I'm playing the exact same songs, the same orders. But I do, what has helped me out was having these go-to crates where I know there's, it's made up of songs that have worked from past events, and they're not the same songs that go in order. You can, but it's also just have it there, so when I come into a situation like the event that I had to do with that wedding one, or with the school today, I felt once I saw who was there and what they were vibing to, I had another crate I can like jump into to fit that situation. So I always have these go-to crates where there's a bunch of songs, and I don't go in order. I jump from one song to the next one, or if I have a brain fart, I might go from one song to the next one like that. But the key thing is to also make sure you tag your songs. I keep saying that. Tag it like songs that I use the star system. Like my 1s would be for my warm-ups or slow songs. 3 would be my main crate. And 5 is the bangers that get out of jail. No matter what's going on, I can, or if I'm like tonight, I was busy talking to everybody because it's the first time we seen them. So there was a lot of times I got to the end of the song, I needed something real quick. So I knew throwing the banger, I could just slam it and then keep it going.
I have my virtual DJ. I have hot hits, floor fillers, and I might be doing a wedding or an event, and I put a song on, and everybody jumps out in the dance floor. I'm like, ooh, good song. I never played that one before. That's going in my floor filler song, in my floor fillers folder. If I play another song and a crowd of people come out, okay, that's going to go in my hot hits folder. I may not play that song for 5 or 6 more gigs, but might be at a moment, okay, this is just like that last event or the event I did 5-6 months ago. Let's throw that song on there. It brings people out. It just, you got to study your crowd. You know, it just, you have to. If you don't, that's going to lead you into your next gig and your next gig and your next gig. Now, so like I said, I'm a virtual DJ guy. Virtual DJ creates not a backup, but it's like, how can you say it? It's like the gigs that you have done in the past.
Your history.
So I'll even go in there and, oh, this song will work. I'll throw that out so they can hear it too. So it's just, you got to be very, very mind wise. You have to be like a, how can I say, like a crocodile. Or not a crocodile, octopus. Your arms are all over. You have 8 arms, and you got to make sure everything's going for you. And yes, it's stressful because that's what you want to make sure everybody's having a good time. So you're trying to get all the bangers out, make sure they're playing them. One thing is make sure you don't have no dead air. You could have a banger of the night, and maybe 20 minutes before the end of the night, you have 2 or 3 seconds of dead air. The guests that are left there, the bride and groom, they'll remember that forever. Oh, he left us with some dead air. It's like, yeah, but all night long he's danced. I'm sorry, I screwed up. You only had, 3 or 4 seconds of dead air, and you're gonna crucify me for it. But some clients will.
Yeah, it depends, because I'm not going to say I'm not guilty of having dead air, because sometimes dead air happens. It just happens, or just like with this event, because I had so much I had to deal with. There was dead air. I couldn't help it because it was this one. And I said it on Buddy's show. It was. I normally don't take digs at people, but I had to take a dig at people this time. Normally, it's like for the last month or so, ever since that, our DJ artists and all that kind of stuff. And people have been saying, no, we're entertainers or we're performers. This gig, if you call yourself an entertainer or a performer, you would have got ate up. Because DJing was the last thing on that list, because there was a lot of stuff that had to happen. To go back to that event, to set it all up, they had a ceremony that happened outside. And then behind the ceremony, everything is in close quarters. It sounds like it's different locations, but everything is in close quarters. So let's say the grassy area is where the ceremony is. And then where the last cheer is, you step on the patio. And patio is where the cocktail happens. And that's where they were supposed to do the reception. But because it was raining so hard, we had to stay inside. So that meant that the DJ, you just need basically one setup. The same setup that you would have for your ceremony. You just turn the speaker and face it so the sound is pointing towards the ceremony. But then when it came to the cocktail, where the bar was, where the hors d'oeuvres were, and other desserts was, you just turn your speaker so it's shooting, sound in that little area. But then with this one, they would go inside for the dinner. And that's where I put my normal ceremony setup. and with the dinner one. So with that one, my point I'm getting to was, besides just not just having the songs where if you just DJing, you there to perform and say woo woo, put your hands in the air, you was going to get ate up because you also had to man another sound in another room.
Yeah.
So some DJs would have tried to do it wirelessly and try to do everything from one spot, and sometimes it doesn't. That is not the best option. So therefore, you need to make sure you have multiple mega mixes, 20, 30, or an hour, or as I want to say X mix, and I want to say MP3 pool. They have these things called piss breaks, where they have these mega mix, so you can put it on, and it's not auto mix where it's playing one full song. It's still mixing just like a DJ would be there. So you need those kind of things just so you can have music going.
Well, I did one emergency wedding. I've done several, but this one, it sticks out in my brain. Bride and groom went up. They had their rehearsal. Their ceremony is going to be here. Like the last row, and then you had about 10 feet. Then there was like this patio. That's where the cocktail hour is going to. So when I got there, I'm like, okay. They had an arch where that's where I thought the ceremony was going to be, but none of the seats were there for guests to sit down. I'm like, well, maybe they're making their guests stand. I don't know, you know? So finally, I started talking to people. I'm like, can you please tell me where the wedding ceremony is? Oh, sir, it's down there. It was a country wedding. I said, down there? Where down there? Down there. Okay, but where? You know, you're pointing that direction, but where? You know, oh, and you could barely make the chairs out. I'm like, oh my God. It's like 300 yards away. So now I'm looking, okay, I got to walk 300 yards. I'm going to be there. But the what do you call it, cocktail hours, 300 yards this way, not behind me. If I go all the way up here, like, well, I got to split the difference because when the bride and groom told me that your ceremony's here, cocktail hours here, beautiful. A two setup, one for reception, one for cocktail hour, and the ceremony. Turned out you couldn't do that. Well, I did it. I don't know how the heck I pulled it off, but I was 300 yards this way, 300 yards, 150 yards this way, 150 yards that way, because I split the difference. All I did is, when the ceremony was going on, I had the speaker pointed towards the minister that was performing the ceremony. Thank God they didn't want a microphone. Then when cocktail hour went, all I did is I turned the speaker around and I let it play. I turned it up loud enough so they could hear it down there. But I was so far away. I mean, it still sounded good, but it wasn't what I should have had. But again, the venue misled the bride and groom. The bride and groom told me a double setup, one for the reception, one for the ceremony and cocktail hour, but it wasn't that way. It should actually been a three setup thing. So it wasn't their mistake. They were misled by the venue on it. It just, unfortunately, stuff like that does happen. Venue will tell you anything they want to tell you, and can't correct. You don't know. You're going there. You did your walkthrough. You did your practice run, and then the next day you come there and you're like, where's everything at? Why is this here? Why is that there? And then you get the cocktail or the venue manager or the wedding planner and say, oh, we decided to do something different. Like, why? Why didn't you tell me this? So it's just unfortunate, the stuff that we have to go through. And that's what causes the mental stress with us,
Yeah, I haven't ran into that one because I kind of sort of with this one, but it wasn't that extreme because not only do I talk to the client, I also try to do a venue, a walkthrough, or talk to the venue I guess you could say manager or whoever's who's taking care of the event to make sure I know where I'm going to set up and where everything is going to be before I get there, so it's no surprises. But with this one, I was told one thing, but because of the weather, I guess they're used to looking at the radars and stuff. So it was one of those things where the ceremony would be outside, but they also had to set up just in case that rain hits right at the ceremony thing. And with Cleveland weather that week, it was like on the news, they'll say we have a good chance of rain, but like in the Cleveland area, we don't even see rain or a cloud, but it might be storming down in Cincinnati or Dayton or somewhere else. So it's like, it's one of those hit and miss things. So that's what we had to deal with. So I set up, we did the ceremony. Ceremony went fine, but then the rain came during cocktail hour. But it wasn't a downpour, it was a drizzle. So because I knew there was a chance of rain, I had the plastic bags and tarps. So I was able to keep the music going and cover up my equipment. And then since I was using columns, I made sure I had the long plastic bags. And I always keep the extra plastic bags for when I get the Amazon, big, huge Amazon stuff. I keep those bags. So I was able to cover up the column and then take the plastic bag and just drape it over the bottom part of the column. So the rain is not falling directly on it. So I was able to keep the music going. And then it stopped. And I thought we were in the clear. But then when he was looking at the radar, it showed a big, huge storm coming. And it said it was going to arrive at the time that we'll be coming outside to do the reception after dinner. So during dinner, we talked to the client, so they knew what was going on. So the plan was, once we get everybody inside, and we delayed dinner as well, kind of like get everything set up. Once we got everybody inside, then we did, the toast and all that stuff. But once we got into dismissing tables, instead of me dismissing the tables, they had the venue people dismiss tables. So therefore, that gave me time to go outside and just move my stuff. There was no reason for it to stay outside because we wouldn't be coming back outside. So I had to move my stuff during dinner. And this goes back to having a prepared either playlist where it can just automatically play your song, or I had the mini MP3 player that had like a 2-hour song going throughout, which had the I guess you could say, not specific, the genres or music that everybody can like. The yacht jams and the Motowns and the Bruno Mars, the disco-ish kind of, those songs that everybody like. It's current hits that people can gravitate to, and then it's still old enough for the older people, so everyone likes. And
you really had to be prepared. Like you said, you had everything there. You had it ready. You had that 1.5 to 2 hour mix, that was ready. That you did a great job. I mean, you knocked it out of the park right there. You'll get some DJs that, hey, if it rains, it rains. I'm just going to shut my stuff down. That's it. I'm going to move it in. But the party has to go on. So you're part of that party. You're the main part of that party. So sometimes a client thinks that they know what's best for themselves. They're not thinking the DJ's equipment. That gets damaged, I'm liable for it. Let's let the DJ pick and choose and do what he has to do, because we don't want to see his equipment get ruined, because that bill's going to be on us. So if you said, all right, listen, we'll do what we can do outside, and once it starts raining, everything's coming inside. So, I mean, you have to be stern with them in a sense, but it's just unfortunate. That's the way it is today, you know?
Yeah, no, they already had a rain plan because I asked that right off the bat. I asked that from the guy that was giving me the other DJ that handed this off to me. Then I asked the venue when we did the site visit, and then I also finally talked to the clients. I also mentioned that, so everybody was aware of what the plan B, C, D, E, and F was. So when it happened, we already had an idea of what to do. It's just a matter of communicating that this is going to happen. So we might have to adjust the time or do something so the guests wouldn't feel like it wasn't organized or there was dead spots. They noticed that the weather was coming. They was like, oh, now what are they going to do? But because people was constantly moving, and while one thing was happening, something else was happening to make sure the best that we could, things could happen right on time or close to time. And then also with the weather, she had the photographer that had to leave at a certain time. So with the weather, that messed up his, photography, like getting that certain, when the clients leave and they do that on the sundown pictures and all this other special moment pictures, that shifted. So we's busy trying to adjust to the weather and then his timeline and then trying to make sure he gets his pictures.
Yeah. The thing is, your time, it seems like this venue was very well prepared. You were very well prepared. There's going to be a time that you might have an emergency wedding and you'll go to the venue and they are not prepared at all. The only thing they're prepared for is ceremonies outside, receptions inside. That's it. And they don't care if it's raining. It's not their equipment. They don't care what it's doing. They're not caring about the guests. They're not caring about the bride. She's walking down now. There's somebody going to hold an umbrella above her or what? It's like, then you get on the same page as a DJ. Everybody, let's get on the same page. Photographer, videographer, everybody's boom. And that, again, it comes back to the DJ. I don't know why everything's laid on the DJ. And you'll have a venue manager or a coordinator come up and say, what should we do? It's like, you're the coordinator. You should know what to do. If you don't know what to do, then there's something wrong here, but somehow we get through it. It's just everybody has to be on the same page. The best thing to do is be prepared. Even the venue, be prepared.
Yeah, because it goes back to my whole point about looking at yourself as just an entertainer or a performer. So when I said that, it wasn't a dig of those that said that. It was just, sometimes you can't just go in thinking that you're just going to be the DJ or just handle the music. You got to be ready to handle multiple different issues that might arise. And I was trying to find this YouTube video. I think his name is DJ Fox, African-American guy. He was in the Army. I think he spells it Phox or something like that.
Very great DJ. I follow him on YouTube. He wears black rubber gloves every time he sets up. Does that, and he reminds me of DJ Reese in a sense that he's really on top of his game, like DJ Reese. I mean, he is so overly prepared, but there's only one thing that happens before he goes and does a gig. He gets the diarrhea. He talks about he has to take Imodium. So when he was on James King's show, was it 2-3 weeks ago? Mm-hmm. I sent them, I'm in the chat. I said, DJ Fox, did you have to use an Imodium this past weekend? And James ran it back over to me. He's like, somebody see my video on that,
Mm-hmm. But he has a thing that I need to get because the venue did help me out with trying to cover my equipment. They had an umbrella, and DJ Fox has one that's portable. So it's easy to set up real quick. And he says he uses it for his ceremony setup. And if I find it before we leave, I'll show you that picture if you all haven't seen it. It's a big umbrella, but it folds up, so it's still kind of like compact.
Yeah. I love outdoor venues. I love outdoor gigs, but I tell every client, it may be sunny all week long. The day you're a gig, that might be the downpour day. Or the storm may be just rolling in, so you might be getting a lot of wind. We might get some rain, so don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on your guest. It's just Mother Nature at its best,
Right. And I found it. Let me slide over to this next thing. Yeah, it's this umbrella right here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Oops.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? What's up, ladies?
All my life.
If you need somebody, a nice guy to follow.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? So today we are at a baby shower here at the Airbnb. All right, so let me show you what today's setup. So we have one Evolve 50 out here. We have the other Evolve 50
That's not the
right
one.
out.
It's this one right here, where he says two things. These two things. I clicked on the wrong one. My fault.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this.
Hey. I'm gonna try it one more time. I'm gonna not use my mouse because I'm clicking on the right one. Two things. Anyway, I give up.
We just paid $500.
But if you could see the picture, I'll try to blow it up.
He usually has a long intro into his videos, and then it'll go to like his main segment.
This one didn't have all that because it's a short.
Okay.
But if you can see it on your screen, it's this umbrella right here that he uses to shade his equipment. So I'm gonna look at one of those. It's easier to set up. It's definitely easier to set up than bringing in the canopy, the 10 by 10 tent.
I won't use. I've used 10 by 10 tents, and I stopped using them. In my contract, if I have to bring a tent, they're paying me. And I think I have it in there for $250 or $299 that they have to pay me extra. Because again, I have to have Michael stay and have to have somebody else help get the tent up. So, and then at the end of the night, I have to have somebody come, or it's just for the ceremony. And then when moving everything on the inside, then Michael has to stay again, help break down the tent, get that packed up and get it in his vehicle or my vehicle and go from there. But I stopped.
So what are you saying? You saying that you have a what was the term?
Upcharge for it.
What?
I have an upcharge for a tent if I have to.
No, it's not called upcharge. I'm trying to think. What did Kevin call it? Because your situation sounded just like what Kelvin was saying that you got on Kelvin. You was like, you can't charge extra for the heat. You knew about the heat before you took it.
Yeah.
I forgot what the charge he called it.
If it's like they tell me it's an outdoor venue or outdoor gig and it's in their backyard or whatever, and I ask them, am I going to be underneath the tent? And they guarantee I'm going to be underneath the tent. Okay, great. Then the last minute they call, oh, Mike, they came, they set up the tables, they put the dance floor in the middle, but they have you here on the end. And it's like, well, I can't be on the end because I have all my equipment. And then the one bride and groom took a picture of the tent. I was actually on the outside of the tent, and the dance floor was in the middle, and it was a nice sized tent. I'm like, why wasn't there anybody around to tell them, hey, listen, seats here, DJ and dance floor here? No. I'm like, oh my God. So I told him, I said, listen, I got to bring a tent with me because I don't want my equipment getting damaged. And we had like a a 73% chance of rain that day. They said, well, what do we owe you? And I told them, I said, this is what you're going to owe me. Because you told me I was going to be underneath the tent. You guarantee me I will be underneath the tent. I don't have to worry about getting no water on me, no nothing on me. Well, I wasn't. So there it was. I had to upcharge him.
He called it a discomfort fee. I think that's what he called it.
Brian S. Rich just did a video, and they did supply him with a tent, but the rain started coming down so heavy. The tent, well, I guess, was an older tent, and there was pinholes in it, and the water started coming through on them. That's another scary thing. It's like, what do? You have thousands of dollars worth of equipment here. What do you do?
And that's the other thing, because I had brought that up last year for the June 19th gig I did last year, and it rained. Even though it has, the tent is pointed, you still got to make sure you look at, when the rain comes down, you got to make sure you look at the top, because rain can still hold on to the spots of the tent, and then before you know it, the tent is the ceiling is coming in. Then next thing you know, you got this water that the ends flip over. It's going to just downpour. So you got to kind of like watch and make sure you're knocking water off as you go.
Exactly. If you look at a lot of the tents, they'll just have the pole that goes up in the middle, right? But you want to get, if you're going to go out and buy a tent, okay, it has that pole that goes up in the middle, but up on top of that tent, like where the pole's going up, there's actually like a little tent up above that, and it has like a little flap on it, so basically no rain can get through there to get down on top of you, so which is good. It protects, and you can get that tent that I'm talking about. I think they have them on Amazon right now. They're probably about $99 because the summer season's just basically over. I purchased mine last year, my purple tent. I found the tent. I had the frame. I did that Plains Night Out. I couldn't find the tent. I thought my wife passed it out when my daughter was moving back. Here I found it in a bag. I'm like, oh my God, beautiful. Our town colors for our sports teams is purple and white. Everything's purple and white, or purple and gray. They changed it now, purple and gray and white. But I bought a purple tent. People look at me like, what the hell did you buy a purple tent for? I said, well, I live in Plains Township. As soon as you say, oh yeah, Plains is purple and white, so that's why I got the purple tent. Again, emergency gig, you have to over prepare. The things you learned from in the past, that you went and you did this gig, you were supposed to be underneath the tent, but you weren't underneath the tent and you didn't bring a tent with you. Well, then you're looking for plastic bags or asking the people, hey, do you have a tarp? So, okay, you're throwing a tarp over you, protecting your equipment, but you're underneath there and you're trying to look out the crowd and trying to DJ at the same time. You have garbage bags over your speakers. You make sure your wires out on the ground. You're holding them up. You got zip ties or what do you call it? Velcro straps, and you pull the wires up off the ground. That was the thing I learned from my past. Twice that happened to me. I'm like, that's it, no more. Putting that in my contract. They can't supply me with a tent, I'll bring my tent. And again, I'm still make sure everything's up off the ground. But that was a thing from the past that I learned. I mean, like, why did I not get myself a tent? But again, you're taking the client's word that you're going to be underneath the tent. And turns out you're not underneath the tent. It's like, oh, it gets to you,
Nope. I was thinking about something before we go in. But anyway, I see the 10 o'clock crew is in the chat. So let me get back to the chat. Because I see Will and Buddy had joined us.
Willie.
And then, cool thing, this is what I learned in college, traveling back and forth from home. Learning how to load my vehicle. Putting everything, using every crack in the car, every little space under the seat to get everything in there.
I worked at UPS, and believe me, they're the tightest business in the shipping business. And believe me, there wasn't a centimeter of wasted space. So when I was doing it by myself, packing the vehicle and everything, Michael would come and help me set up. And then at the end of the night, he'd come out that I'll pack the car. And I'm like, okay, did you take a picture of it before you unpacked it? No, why? I'm like, should have taken a picture, Michael. Next thing he's like, Dad, this ain't gonna all fit in there. I said, if it's here, that means it fit on the way here. So it has to fit. Let's tear it back out. Oh, now we're gonna waste time. I said, well, if you just took your time packing it, or you had a picture of it, you could have just packed it the way you had the picture look like. Nope. You couldn't take those 2 seconds to pull your phone out and take a picture of it, you know?
All right, lessons. If this is from Kevin, lessons if you want to sign on for one, he's going back to the emergency DJ for the beginner that never did a wedding never did the event that he's accepting the gig for. Then he says, if they sign on for it, it'll be tough. So if you like the challenge, then go for it. If you like prep, then pass.
You know what, Kev, I do agree with there 1,000%. I think every DJ should step up to the plate one time and try this emergency gig. If you fail, you fail. That's okay. I mean, not everything in life is going to be perfect, and we're not going to pass everything with full colors. We are going to fail at certain things because we're human. So, hey, you tried it, you failed. Maybe you didn't fail, but you didn't do as good as you thought you should have. So you learn by your mistakes. So if you get another emergency phone call for another, might be a wedding, might be an anniversary party, whatever. Well, hey, I'm going to do this one because I did like an 80% job or a 75% job, but I learned from my mistakes. I know what I did was wrong. What I know my wrong points. I corrected them. Now I can move on. You might make a couple other little mistakes and you say, okay, well, hey, I'm going to mark them down. Get another emergency gig. Now I know. And eventually you'll get those emergency gigs. You'll be like, okay, yeah, no problem. I'll be there. And, you know, now you're going to upcharge them a little bit more because they're calling you last minute, you know?
Mm-hmm. My thing is, I wouldn't say it's okay to make, because what you're describing, 75 to 80%, that's still passing. Now, I'm saying I wouldn't take gigs that is above my, my level. You should not ever do, because that's not the place. Gigs is not the place for you to practice or learn. And especially someone's wedding, especially when they're paying a lot of money for their wedding. That is the last place you want to go and learn or practice or try to figure things out. Because it's one thing to do something and, you can have a misstep, but you can rebound from it. It's another thing that's from coming in, not playing the right song, calling people the wrong names, not being on time, not having the equipment. That little stuff is it's not excusable. And then they would definitely give you the business if you came and did that and you have mistakes behind mistakes behind mistakes. Because they'll allow one or two to happen, but if you have major mistakes after one after another, then they're going to give you the business. Mm-hmm.
I've heard of DJs trying to bump up to that next level, but they don't have the right equipment. case in point, it was a DJ on YouTube. He took a gig where they asked for Dancing on the Cloud. Well, he said, yeah, I have Dancing on the Cloud. He didn't. He had a fog machine. He found this stuff which was supposed to be low-lying fog, and he talked to the guy, whoever sold it, whatever company he bought it off of, and they said, oh, yeah, it's just like Dancing on the Cloud. Well, it turned out it wasn't. Now, how does that make him look? He didn't have the right equipment, and he didn't have the right stuff, and wasn't dancing on the cloud because the cloud was up here, and their feet were 4.5 feet below them. I mean, some of the pictures that this DJ showed, you couldn't see the bride and groom's head or face. It's like, that was a total bust. Make sure if you're accepting something, make sure you have the right equipment. Don't be afraid to say, I'm sorry, I'm not your DJ. You know, there's another DJ that's out there that will be your DJ. And hopefully you know somebody that has the right equipment. You can pass that gig on to them, you know? Mm-hmm. Or if they're kind enough, because they're booked that weekend, they're kind enough to like borrow their Dancing on the Cloud machine. Even if you have to rent it off them for the, at least you have the right equipment. You're not bringing your stuff that is the wrong equipment and it's going to ruin the light. You know, get the right stuff, and that's it. You know?
When you get to like sparklers, Dancing on the Cloud, and all that kind of stuff, to me, it's still, if you haven't owned one or worked one and know how to work it, again, going to a gig is not the time to practice. So if you never did it before, don't say you can do it and then think you can get it, or go to Guitar Center or wherever, rent it, and then go up there and try to figure it out. It's just like getting lights. If you're going to DMX your lights, getting your lights and then trying to DMX it and trying to figure stuff out at the gig, that's not the time to do it, because that's when everything can happen. And going back to that, at the gig, I had, on my second computer, I had Serato on there. But, of course, I have one of those Windows computers that always do this miscellaneous updates. So when I get there...
You said that mean word, and you froze up.
You
said that mean word, and you froze up there for a second. You had that... And
yeah.
No, he said Windows.
So it's messing up again. It's like... but I got unplugged in. But I was saying, when my computer updated, my controller, the little controller, Newmark DJ to go controller, wouldn't work with Serato. So it was fine putting my songs, the dinner songs when I'm not there, to automatically mix for me. But when I was back in there, I needed to, I wanted to mix. So I have Virtual DJ and Algorithm, DJ Pro on the second computer. So that's why I keep both of them. People say, why you have both systems on there? I keep one on because if Serato, my main system, doesn't work, I know that Virtual DJ reads my Serato crates. So even though I didn't like mixing and I wasn't used to the workflow of Virtual DJ, but I still made it work. And, the guests didn't know. I was frustrated, but I still made the music blend and still, flow throughout the nights. And that's the whole purpose of being more than, or going into a event with the mindset that you're not just a performer or an entertainer, because you got to be able to think on the fly. You got to be able to do IT work, tech work. You got to be able to do a lot of things that doesn't detail performing or being an entertainer.
Yes. Yeah, oh God, I agree with you 1,000% there. And again, it's not false advertisement, but a DJ guy I know, Buddy knows too, he had a Mac. It had the little light up apple on, like the old Macs used to have. You lift it up on the lid, that apple lit up. Only problem is he didn't use the Mac OS software. He put Windows on it because it had I think he had an i3 or an i5 processor. Then he's calling me up and asking me why it's running so slow and why is it doing this and why is it doing that? And I'm like, okay, well, what do you have on that Mac? And he's like, well, I have Windows 7. I'm like, okay, now you can install Windows 7. How big's your hard drive? 256 gig. I said, well, dude, right there, you split your hard drives in half. You split the hard drive in half. So now you have 128 for PC, 128 for Mac. How much RAM? I got 4 gig of RAM. I said, okay, so now you got 2 gig for PC, 2 gig for. No, Mike, I got 4. I got 250. I said, no, everything's split in 2 because you split the system. He could not get that through his thick brain. That his thing was, DJs only use Macs. I said, yeah, but you're not using a Mac. You're using a PC. Yeah, but I have the Apple logo that lights up on it. I'm like,
No, I'm thinking, because I did that with my first Mac, but I didn't do like him. I only assigned a small partition on my hard drive for Windows because there was some programs I had that was window based, and I forget what it's called, but you could split your hard drive up to either boot under Mac or flip and switch over to Windows. Oh, I know. That's when I first got into doing karaoke, and I was trying to do karaoke the right way. I wasn't depending on, like Carol Fun and all that. And the program that I used and the program that I was using to get the karaoke files was only a window base. So I ended up installing Windows on my computer. And the RAM, as far as the RAM and all that other stuff, it still is wherever it's installed on the computer, it was still there. You still had that as the resource, but it's just the space on your hard drive is like split. It shares that.
The thing that's funny is you were able to take Windows and put it on a Mac, but you couldn't take the Mac OS and put it on a Windows computer. It was messed up. I'm like, how that's how they had it set up. But again, to me, I'm like, why are you telling people you're DJing on a Mac? You have the show of a Mac, but you're DJing on a PC. It's just, to me, that's false advertisement. I talked to them a million times. I said, buy a PC. Just buy a PC. Nope. I'm a professional DJ and I don't use a Mac. Well, now guess what? He bought a PC because Brian S. Red bought a PC. It's like, why don't you just do that at the beginning? It's just simple. I have PCs and I have Macs. I tell everybody I'm bilingual. They look at me. What other language you speak? I said, well, no, I'm bilingual. I work on PCs and I work on Mac. I could just bounce my PC right over to a Mac. Really? Doesn't that confuse? I'm like, no. It's just so simple, Once you get used, it's not simple at first, but once you get used to doing it, it is simple,
I was just cutting corners. That's the only reason I don't have a second Mac. I was being a cheapo at that time.
Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 Macs. Mm-hmm. 7 Macs. Well, 2 of them are the Mac Minis and 5 laptops. Mm-hmm. I have my Lenovo, which is a gaming PC laptop. That was my backup before I got my other Mac. I mean, it's a great PC, runs super quick. Never had a problem with it. I loved it, DJing with it. But I'm not saying I bought the Mac because DJs only use a Mac. I'm very comfortable using a Mac. And it seemed like Virtual DJ boots up a lot quicker on it. Even Serato boots up because I have Serato on everything too. So I could go from Serato to Virtual DJ to Serato. I don't use Serato unless it was a true emergency. It's like call Ghostbusters, get them in here, you know? But you have to be prepared. Because if you're not, you're going to be stuck to stand there and everybody's going to be pointing up in your you feel like there's a million eyes on you. You're like, oh boy, you know?
Yeah, it's just not only be prepared, but you also got to be knowledgeable about different things, so you'll be able to adapt, or at least be resourceful enough to be able to find the answer to a problem or a situation.
Yes. You can't give up. You got to just keep going forward with it, you know? And practice before you go out and try to do that stuff. You know, just don't, okay, I DJ on a PC all the time. I just picked up a Mac. I'm going to take that with me. And then all of a sudden you get there and you boot up the Mac and you're like, uh-oh, what do I do? You know, you practice at home before you go out and do anything. I don't care if it's even with just lights. Everything you practice with, you know? And here comes our little mascot.
Yep. Because I was going to say, but DJ software is pretty much the same, though. But the thing is, I think with the DJ software, you need to make sure you have the fundamentals and the basics down. Because if you think about it, the software and the controllers and all that is just like a car. The cars, it could be, you can have certain features that's different, but the main thing to make the car go, you still have a steering wheel of some sort. Either it's going to be the wheel, or in some vehicles or contraptions, they have the arms that make the car or the vehicle or whatever the thing that you're riding on move a certain way. You still need a key to start it, or some kind of way to make the car move forward and backwards. So there's some basics. If you have the basics down, if you understand that, you can be able to take that knowledge and then apply it to wherever situation you have or whatever equipment you have. Either CDJs is the same, and all that. It's just a matter of the way that you do it is different, but the same basics that you need to have and play is still the same.
Well, even like today, the DJs are saying, well, I DJ on vinyl. Well, yeah, they're using a vinyl platter, whatever you want to say, but it's not actually vinyl like old school DJing was. They actually had a record that they were DJing off of. Today, it's all digital, and it's a vinyl platter there, and it will last for X amount of turns with that needle on there. Eventually, it's going to wear out, but it's not true vinyl like the old school DJs, like Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff. They used records. They had tape on the record, you know, so it's a big difference than today's vinyl, you know.
But it's still the same, though. But what I'm saying, it's still the same concept. You still got to mark it to know where your cue point, where the song starts. And then whether you looking at a screen or looking down, it's still the same. You usually have a left side and a right side that's pretty much identical in the mixer. And it's still the same fate. It's still the same kind of basic concept. It's just
the only difference, like with our controllers and stuff, our pitch controllers down here, and my little cat's in my face. Our pitch controllers here on the side. All the they're all battle. They have their pitch controller up on top. That's what they had to do because the arm for the needle is over here, so they couldn't put the pitch controller over there.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's still the same concept. The pitch controller still does the same thing. Speeds up or slow down the song. You still have to put the arm over there to start the song. You still have a play button. So things are the same. It's the same function. You just have to figure out where they're at. It's just like trying to go from an Android phone to an iPhone or a Mac computer to, like, for me, I used to hate going to the studio because I was on a Windows computer, a PC, and I did everything. I used Pro Tools on my PC, but going to the studio, he had a Mac. the Pro Studios was similar, but the key functions or hotkeys was different. So it was like a learning curve, but I was able to still do the job because I knew the foundation of the software and how to do it. It's just a matter of knowing how to get to it quicker.
Yeah, your muscle memory is built for the PC. Now you built up muscle memory for your Mac. I mean, even like with Photoshop, it was primarily Mac. PC was Corel Draw, Corel Photo Paint. Then they came out with Photoshop for PC. It did exactly everything Photoshop did for the Mac. Everything was the same. The F1 button, whatever, everything was exactly the same. So it just, Adobe did the right job. They just took everything and just converted it over to work on a PC. But with a Mac, with the DJ equipment, you develop certain muscle memory for this controller, that controller, and then you have to go do stuff on CDJs. It's like, okay, wait a second. You buy CDJs, practice with them. If you know you're going to go to a club, call one of your buddies up that have CDJs, practice with them before you go to that club, you know?
Because CDJs and all that stuff is different. Because it's just like people that buy the all-in-one controllers.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of those controllers, you can't just download the music and then just put it on your jump drive and plug it into the CDJs or the DJ equipment and it works. You usually have to analyze it, pre-analyze it before you plug that stick into the equipment, either using Rekordbox or that. And a lot of people miss that step and then they get to a gig and they have issues.
I heard that this week, I forget what controller it was. It was an all-in-one controller, but the gentleman had everything on all his external drives, and when he went to use this all-in-one controller, he was able to plug in his external hard drives, but certain files weren't being read by it. I don't know if they were FLAC files, were they WAV files, what files were they? I have no idea because I really didn't catch the whole video. And I'm like, well, that really has nothing to do with me because I'm not going to buy an all-in-one controller. I passed that point. I like what I have. I'm going to keep what I have, and it's going to last me till I retire from DJ. Put it that way, you know.
Yeah, but you gotta format it. There's something that you have to do. Either format the flash drive, or format or analyze your tracks so it can basically fit the format that equipment is going to use. Because it's almost like I always format everything in, I think it's exFAT. So therefore, it doesn't matter whether I plug it into Windows or Mac, everything's going to be read. Because if I did it, I forget the other format that you do. It'll be one of those things where only a Mac will read it because it's only Mac files. And then, or it only will read on a Windows computer.
NTS will read and write on a PC. NTS will only read on a Mac. You can't write to it. And at one point in time, a lot of the hard drives were formatted NTS. And a couple of my friends had Macs, and they're calling me up, Mike, I got to get this stuff in. I got to get it on my flash drive. I got to get it on my external hard drive. It won't go on. I'm like, well, did you format it? It's a brand new drive, Mike. I said, no, did you format it? Mike, it's a brand new drive. I said, yeah, but you got to format it to exFAT. Why? I guess you're not going to be able to do it. You know, it's basically, you look at the hard drive case, read it, what it does. Well, it's for Windows. I said, well, if you format that to exFAT, it will work on your Mac. They just couldn't get the concept down that they were just like, it's a brand new drive, it should work. Yeah, but that one that's only for Windows. If you format it to exFAT, it's going to work on both, you know?
All right, and then Buddy said he charges a remote power fee, and I do that too. That and with the tent and all that.
Yes.
Will said, very pretty, buddy. A lot of steps all over the place. And then Kevin said, I even have to have a delay in starting the reception because it's a mile away. So I think that's the one he was talking about. I think he had an indoor, outdoor, he had where they were both in the same room, the ceremony and reception. And I'm trying to catch up. And Cool Thing says, I personally would be fine with wherever they want me to set up to prevent an argument or a fight with the client, and I say that's fine. Yeah, to a point. You haven't met the right one yet.
Nah.
Because I used to think that way. So after I had started dealing with people, I was like,
You're not. You get the phone call, and you could just tell by the tone of their voice, boy, this is going to be a tough client. Do I want to DJ for them, or don't I want to DJ for them? It's your choice. You pick and choose,
Mm-hmm. And then Will said, make sure you strap your equipment to the cart if you're going to be going down like a stone floor, because the vibration will knock it off.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I know the rock cart, is that what it's called? The rock?
Yeah, the Rockville rock cart.
No, not the Rockville. It's the rock and roller carts.
Yeah.
Because they have the accessories where you can put the straps on the side so they don't go flying off the side, and they have the bag that goes on the end. With me, I have to use the those tie-down straps and go around. And then Buddy says that's why he has a van, so he has a lot of room.
Yep.
And Kevin said he got to get one. And then Cool Thing and Kevin says they never have been the emergency DJ.
Matter of fact, I'm going to be picking up a van like the Shuffle Couple, except mine's going to have the hydraulic lift because it was for a handicapped person. Mm-hmm. So I could be able to put all my equipment on it. The lift is, I think, about 6 foot wide. And I think it's like about 8 foot long. So it's going to just whoop, right in. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. I can't wait. My van now is basically a storage unit.
Mm-hmm. And then Buddy said, the thing just moved. I know he said something about if you only prep for 30 minutes, then things are going to go bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, Buddy, did they, like here in Pennsylvania, for tax for my van are $87. And that's what any van, doesn't matter the size of the van, it's $87 for all of them. Because out in Chicago or out in Illinois, does the cost for your tags differ by the size of your van, or is it just one flat fee for all vans? Well, I'm sorry, if your van has windows in it, like all the way around, and it has like a middle seat and then another seat, that's considered a car tag. If your van only has the front and passenger windows, like up in front, driver's side door and passenger side door, then it's considered a work van, which is then considered a truck. So the price of the tags are different for that than as opposed to the other van. The price for tags, when I first got my van, they were $56 or $58. They're now up to $87. Like, Jesus. They jumped up so much over several years. No, they're saying all this money's going to help the bridges and stuff. And it's not. Help the roads, it's not. But they just keep up in the price of the tags. So I'm asking by that is, are your tags differ, or they say it's a flat rate?
All right, so maybe once I get down to the end of the chat, he would had answered. So, but Kevin has went on to say, with that little time, it is necessary to be already packed. Yeah, that's what I was saying, making sure everything is packed and organized and ready to go. He failed to do research on the product. He's talking about the dancing on the cloud.
Okay. Yep.
So again, when you get certain things, that's just why I haven't advertised my photo booth yet, because I want to make sure I understand. Huh?
You want to be comfortable working with it. If this problem arises, okay, I know what to do there. If this problem arises, I know what to do there.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody unplugs it, okay, well, I know what I got to do then. You know, I mean, there's all those little things in there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they came out with a lock. But when we plug our equipment into the wall socket, we can lock it in there and they can't pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they walk by and trip over the wire, when they trip over it, they're going to go fall flat out their face, but our wire's going to stay plugged in.
But I have those rubber, I forget what exactly it's called, but it's the black, real thick rubber things. Cause I don't tape down my cords. I use the rubber thing to put it over the cord so they can just roll over it, don't trip over it.
I actually had a little boy sitting up. He was going to pull the plug. I'm like, no, get out of there, you know. And then that's all I have to do. Have that unplugged. Boom, there goes my speakers, everything, lights, everything shut off. Again, that's why I don't like children at a wedding.
And then Buddy went on to say, you have to get ready before the event. And that's what we had said earlier, being prepared. And especially the emergency DJ thing, you have to have stuff in order before the emergency.
Yeah.
And then he said, Windows. Oh, he's talking about the computer.
I thought he was talking about the windows in the van. I know he's a big Windows guy.
Mm-hmm. Then that's what I had to do today, because I don't know why Serato was acting funny. I'm not sure if there was something. It was something hanging it up, but I did turn off Wi-Fi because Kevin said make sure you turn off Wi-Fi all the time and do airplane mode, because I know that sometimes messes with Serato a lot. And Buddy said just run DOS or Linux. I haven't heard Linux in a long time.
No, I know.
And then the last time Cool Thing used the PC was in 2013. And that's how I was. And once I went over to Mac, I didn't turn back. I went over there because I kept hearing that Mac is more plug and play than PC. But the one thing I did like about PC, I can customize everything. Mac is whatever you buy. So you couldn't add extra stuff on there. And that's why I hated that my 2013 MacBook Pro stopped working, because I was able to take out the RAM, change the hard drives, and change all that kind of stuff.
I see Buddy mentioned about what he pays for tax, but I can't see it because I don't have my glasses on again.
Okay. I'm trying to get down to it. And Big J DJ Services say he still has his Mac as a backup. Oh, he used a Chromebook.
Okay. Whatever works for you. I mean, that's one thing I will never down to anybody for if you use a PC, Mac, Chromebook. Whatever works for you, that's what counts. I mean, I'm not going to second guess you. I'm not going to say, geez, you're using a Chromebook, I'm using a Mac, and you're expecting to get the same price as me. It doesn't matter. You're getting the job done.
Yeah, because the clients don't even care.
No.
And then, because I have a Chromebook, I have the one that you can bend back that look like a tablet. So I can touch, it has the touch screen and all that. And that comes in handy with my new Behringer mixer, digital mixer. I can connect to it wirelessly and then walk around the room and do what I need to do.
You're loving that mixer.
Yeah. Cool thing say he mostly have old music on vinyl, and NTFS is only for Windows. That's from Kevin.
Yep, NTFS.
And then Cool thing says he uses exFAT for his USB drives on his Denim DJ SC Live 2.
And there's another format for Mac. One's the exFAT, which is Mac and PC compatible. But then there's another one that is just basically for Mac. I mean, you plug it into your PC, it's not going to do nothing. I don't know if it's going to even recognize that it's plugged into your PC.
And then Buddy says for his mics, he used the rusty cans and a string.
Hey, I found something better than a string, buddy.
I wonder, did he write Sennheiser on the side of his rusted cans?
Oh, God, buddy, he got you there.
And then he says he got the gravity cart better than the rock and roll cart. And then Cool Thing uses the sturdy Costco cart.
Cool.
And he says business is more, joy van is less. Business is more, joy van is less. Okay. And then Kevin said offered the photo booth for nothing to work out the kinks. But the problem is, I gotta learn how to work the photo booth so I can know what the kinks to work out.
That's one thing I used to do when I first started DJing. Sometimes I even offer my services for nothing. Like somebody called up and they're having a benefit. Okay, I'll be there. Don't worry about paying me. It's a benefit. Till I got burned, and now, for every little thing I charge. I gotta put bread and butter on my table. I gotta put gas in my vehicle. I gotta charge you something. I'm not gonna charge you full price, but I gotta charge you something.
Okay, and then he answered your question. Buddy said he has a B truck plate, and it's for all vans and pickups, and it's based on the weight of the truck, and D plate is more. So he has a B plate, B truck plate, B as in boy, but he says the D plate, like my name Dwayne, plate is more, and you can have a Ford Maverick or a F-35 350, and then he says the same plate, but it's $185 a year.
Wow. God bless you with the tags out there. I thought Pennsylvania was expensive, but God bless you. Now, the old Ford Mavericks were great. Like the cars, 2 wrenches, 9/16 inch, you could take in the whole car apart.
And then Kevin says, offer the photo booth at a community event. But yeah, it's just me trying to learn the program. After party, yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I took an allergy pill today. If you notice, I'm not blowing my nose. I'm not blowing my nose tonight because I took an allergy pill. The only thing is Michael cut the grass because it was sunny here this morning. My eyes are like, it feels like they're sandpaper. Like I just want to stick my fingers in there and itch them.
And then Kevin went on to say all laptops are getting unable to upgrade. And then he said Mac is the worst. Yep.
Yeah, because they put the best stuff in it. You don't have to upgrade them.
but then they keep upgrading the operating system to the point where certain things stop working, or they make stuff where it gets to a point where you stay at the old operating system, and it's like at that time you want to upgrade, but your computer doesn't have the resources, either the RAM and all that stuff.
I watched. I follow a lot of DJs on YouTube, and things so. Yes, they're coming out with new stuff every year, every other year, and just driving the price up on everything. But again, it's like, why should it bother you? You know, like if you want to upgrade to that one, go ahead. If you don't, because this one's still gonna it's still gonna run your program. It's still gonna do exactly the same. There might be slight differences in certain other programs, like it might take a little bit for that to run, or you go with the newer one, but it's going to cost you X amount of dollars to have that program run a half a second quicker. Why? Well, why? You know.
And then Big J DJ Services says he was commenting on Buddy's Chromebook comment. My main laptop or my main computer is a HP Omen gaming laptop. And Buddy says, yeah, that's why I like custom laptops, because I like to tinker with my stuff. So he says it's easier to swipe stuff out. And then Kevin said they buried the items to update with proprietary screws, and they are dreadful to work on.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you strip them. And I see Diego's in the chat. And
boy, we're gonna miss your buddy Shay. I built a system for my son. A gaming PC, and compared to gaming laptop, yeah, we could switch out stuff in the gaming laptop, but the gaming tower, oh my God, I could put so much stuff in there yet. It's unbelievable. I mean, there's so much room in these things compared to when I had a PC laptop. Everything like these big clumps of wire this, then like, where do I start? Why I get started, I just get wire snippers, cut the wires, but then the computer wouldn't work ever again. Now, that thing, it's unbelievable. There's a couple wires here, a couple wires there, that's it. And I'm like, am I doing this right? You know, and turn out perfect. I think it's a monster.
And I see a Nuke had joined us.
Hey, Nuke, what's happening?
And then Diego said, Mac is awesome and you all are tripping.
Oh, come on, Pretty Boy. Pretty Boy, are you going to miss your buddy Shay?
And then Kevin said, yeah, because they make it so therefore after a certain amount of time you have to buy a new laptop. So that's why they make it hard for you to upgrade. Or when they create new versions of different equipment, be it a controller or like my camera, the Insta360, they came out with the 6. Each time they come out with it, they make it so you can't use the same like batteries or the covers or something. You always got to buy new stuff to go with it.
Yes. That's what I like about the DJI products. Their batteries are interchangeable from A through Z. But yeah, it kills me because they're coming out with this stuff so quick. It's like not even a year, they're coming out with another new one, and by next year they'll have another new one, and the next fall they'll have another new one. I'm like, why do you just keep pushing this stuff? Why? Because you switch the button here, you switch the button there. I could zoom in a little bit better. The thing is, you have software on your computer. You can zoom in on your computer on that piece. It's not going to distort. It's not going to pixelate on you. You can. people don't realize they could do that. I got the latest and greatest DJI Pocket 4, and all of a sudden now the Pocket 4 Pros out. It's like, how much money are you going to keep wasting on this stuff? You know, it's like, what you have should be good enough, unless we're into DJing. And I got a ton of lights here, and I got a ton of other equipment. But I got to the point, I don't want to spend money on it anymore, Gary, because I have enough for what I need. That's it. The cameras, again, I have them, but I'm not going to quickly upgrade to the newest camera because now I could do a 4x zoom instead of just doing a 3x zoom. Doesn't matter. I could keep it on rock steady and keep it on normal mode. And when I put it in my computer, if I want to do a zoom in on that, there it is. There's a zoom in on it.
I look at it like this. The more new stuff they bring out, that means the item that wasn't in my budget now has become like real cheap now because they're trying to get rid of it.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and quickly go through this chat so I can take you out of your misery because I see your eyes getting sleepy.
No, it's fun. You see tensions rubbing up against my face. Now I have cat hair. Besides my eyes being itchy, I keep going like this. I'm full of cat hair. I got cat hair in my mouth. I got cat hair all over my face. She's our mascot.
And then Kevin says new programs become more resources heavy, so it's a vicious cycle. Yep. How many Mac servers are out there?
Oh, there's tons of Mac servers. The thing is, and that's what I'm not going to blame Mac for upgrading so much, right? I'm going to blame these companies, these program companies. Like before, you used to buy, I'll just say Adobe. You bought Adobe, you own Adobe. It was on your computer, on your Mac or your PC. Now, I don't care if it's on your Mac or PC. You don't have, all you have is the little icon. You click on it, everything's in the cloud. Everything is in the cloud. There's nothing stored on your PC at all. Nothing. Like, wow, this is great. You know, like now I don't have to worry about running out of room because it's all up in this $1 trillion or $1 byte cloud up above me somewhere, you know?
Yep, just as long as you have internet. As soon as that goes out, then you're stuck.
Yeah, I know. Unless that satellite falls back to the earth.
And then Buddy says that's why he runs a Windows ME. And then Diego said, for sure, it's not going to be the same. So he's talking about Shay. A Nuke said, for the FOMO shiny new thing crowds. And then Kevin said, I have a Windows Vista I can use that I moved to Windows 7. Slow to load, but works if it's needed. So let me go ahead and end it. So therefore, you can go and take your Benadryl nap.
No, I'm good. I'm wide awake. I'm just itching. My eyes are itchy at the cat hair all over them. It's that fine cat hair. Oh, but I can't push her off. I love her so much, and she's no matter where I'm at during the day, Dwayne, she's right next to me. It's so funny because like I sleep on the couch because of my back. I get up to go to the bathroom. I come back in. She's in my spot. I'm like, what are you doing? Keeping the spot warm for me? You know, no matter where I'm at, I go to the bathroom. She comes in the bathroom. I go in the kitchen. I go here. If I go outside, she goes in our bathroom window. She curls up in the window and she starts meowing to me. I'm like, sweetheart, you can't come out here. I'm sorry. You're an indoor cat. I'm not bringing you outside, you know?
Yep. So we're going to do a short after party. And then Cool Thing said, awesome show. And Nuke says he still have a laptop that runs original Scratch Live flawlessly. And then this was a fun show. Thanks, everyone. And there was one more. Kevin said sometimes you can't upgrade the laptop. It's like you got to watch upgrading everything. The laptop, the operating system, because you got to make sure the software or the controller or the firmware matches the upgrades.
Kevin, right before we got online, my microphone came up. I turned on my microphone and said it had an update. I updated it. It said it had another update. And at first, I didn't look at it had a number there, and I didn't pay attention to it. So that updated. And it said it had another update. I'm like, let's say it just updated. Here it had 49 updates to it. I'm like, now I'm down to 47 updates. I'm like, how could this be? But that's how these tech companies are, you know?
Mm-hmm. So let's get to our shout outs.
Big DJ Services, thank you. I'm glad you had fun. Again, if you have any questions. Oh, wait, before we go to our shout outs, we got to say, hey, listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, smash the like button. Also, if you found any enjoyment in this, please share it with your friends. Share it on your Facebook pages, whatever. We thank you for being here. You just make our night for us. Thank you so much.
So our shout outs go. Buddy came in first place last week at TBM Productions, DJ1. And second place came Kevin at DJK Productions, LL Cool K. And then in third place was at Big J DJ Services. And then in fourth place was DJ Adrian E. And then in fifth place was the Shuffle Couple. And then in sixth place was DJ Will. Seventh place was at La Ruckus Inc., Diego. And then in eighth place was DJ Mikey Mike.
Oh my gosh. Hey, we got a new winner tonight. We got Big B.
2 weeks in a row.
Cool thing. You must have been drinking some of that Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Oh, yeah. He had the picture where he went out, was eating lunch earlier on Facebook.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then speaking about Facebook, you can join our Cue It Up DJ Podcast Facebook group page just by going to the browser and Facebook and type in Cue It Up DJ Podcast, and you can join our private or public group. Now, why is this? All right, there we go. And you can also follow us on all our socials. You can follow DJ Mikey Mike on Twitter and Facebook at DJ Mikey Mike. And then his Instagram is at DJ Mikey Mike 45. And then all my socials are at Hitman D Dub. Yeah, I gotta either clean out my computer or wipe some memory out or something because it's running slow. But anyway, we have this thing called the DJ Collective Network, where there's many shows for DJs by DJs. And starting it off on Mondays, it's the Time to Spin with DJ Cool Thing at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And his channel is at DJ Cool Thing Official. Mm-hmm. And then on Tuesdays, it's Buddy from TBM Productions. And his show is called the DJ Roundtable, which is also at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on his Twitch channel, which is TBM Productions _Buddy. And then if you missed the live broadcast, you can see the rebroadcast every Monday at 1 o'clock on his YouTube channel, which is at TBM Productions DJ1. And then on Wednesdays, we have the King's Court with DJ James King at 8 o'clock p.m. on his YouTube channel at James.King HTX. And then you have our show, the Cue It Up DJ Podcast, with me, the Hitman D-Dub, and DJ Mikey Mike at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my YouTube channel at the Hitman D-Dub. As well as you have the Start to Spin DJ Podcast at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube at La Ruckus Inc. with DJ Pretty Boy and DJ I was trying to keep from coughing, but got a hairball in my throat. And DJ at DJ Kevin Sounds, and I hear that DJ Shay is leaving. So I gotta make sure I get caught up with everybody's show. But there's the Start to Spin DJ podcast. What was that?
Tonight was Shay's last night.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta check it out.
They have to pay me to check those videos out anymore. So I'm always like and subscribe, and I always like and share their things. They don't like and share our videos, so that's it. Let me watch. Gotta pay me. Nah, they're great guys.
Yeah,
Kevin's job there with them. He's a good guy too.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the KJ Chill Room every Monday at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just by going to djntv.com/KJ Chill. And then we have at _DJ Reese _ and he has the Recreate the Vibe podcast on YouTube and No Stress Zone on Facebook. And then we have the Woo Experience at the Woo Experience on YouTube. Also, we have the photo booth that you can not only get your photo booth, but you can get a video guest book all from photoboothdirectclub.com. And then if you want to catch up on learning some SEO and online marketing tips from DJ Night Owl, Sean, just visit his YouTube channel at DJ Biz School. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to all of our channels. So we have a bunch of shows, enough there for all different levels and entertainment or edutainment. And our fade out message tonight is preparation gives you a plan, but experience gives you options. And so that was the biggest takeaway from the gig I did 2 weeks ago. It's like you can do all the planning, you can have all the information set up, but you got to be ready to also maneuver right on the spot. Because the last thing you want, it's one thing to have a situation and then amongst yourself, have that little huddle conversation to try to figure out how to make things go or how to adapt. But it's another thing is the audience start to see a bunch of downtime and things not flowing right. Then that's when you lose the party. And by the time you get to the open dancing, they ready to head on out.
Yep.
So with that said, I hope everyone have a great weekend. Make sure you go out there and crush those gigs. And I'll see you next Thursday. And remember, before it's time to spin, you got to first cue it up. And I'll send the link out to everybody that put in after party in the chat so we can do a quick after party. So I'll see you all next week.
Remember, practice and enjoy, everybody. The more you practice, the more you enjoy every gig. And remember, please smash that like button. Leave us comments. Share our videos. We truly appreciate everyone that comes to our show every Thursday night.
Before the lights, 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 before the packed dance floors, before the name showed up, would mean anything. Been hustling over 30 years, working every single day. Music wasn't just a job, it was built in my DNA. The journey wasn't overnight. Still figuring it out. There ain't no changing me. I can only be me.